I'd want to begin with you, Ehtesham Hashmi, because, while the opposition, particularly Congress in this case, has been saying that this is political vendetta, we're not going to be afraid of the Modi government. It is the central agencies working at the behest of the BJP, and all of that is happening in this very case as a result of the same. But if I go by these ground reports, now this is a exclusive that Times Now is putting out. We've reported from several such properties, a multi-city probe that has been carried out on ground, which makes it very, very clear that somewhere a beer shop is operating, somewhere it has been rented to commercial outfits, commercial shops, and heavy rent is being given on these very properties. How is it justified? We just broke down details of why this is extremely questionable. How will the Congress respond?
But see, matter is pending investigation before Enforcement Directorate and other national investigating agency. And till date, not even a single document to substantiate the claim of ED. They have not procured any document. They have not procured any rent agreement. They have not procured any rent received or rent paid. They don't have any proof. And second most important thing which I would like to mention, that the BJP government targeting Gandhi family just to hide the huge loss to government exchequer in 5G auction. No one is debating on 5G auction. We are witnessing that.
Let's not digress. It was a simple question put out to you. Let me bring in Amir, because he was at the very location where a beer shop was operating in one of these properties in Lucknow. Amir, what is it that you saw? Then we'll take this across to our guests.
Well, I'm right opposite that building, the Nehru Manzil, which we'd covered from this morning itself. And the visuals make it quite apparent that this building actually is in a complete state of neglect right now. But what is surprising is that this land, which is huge, must be over 50,000 square feet, had actually been allotted to the National Herald, or the company that was running it, on concessional rates for charity work by the government. And this allotment happened sometime in the 1980s. But since then, the National Herald or Navjeevan or Qaumi Awaz, all these newspapers being run by the company, could only run for a few years. And since mid-90s, this building has been lying completely unused. Now, why is it that the company which had to carry out some kind of a philanthropic work or work related with charity actually constructed a huge market out here with over 200 shops? What is it doing with these after selling off these shops outside inside this market? And where does the rent which is collected from many of these shops actually go? So all these are questions for which there are no answers out here. People related to Congress party refuse to answer our questions because they say we are not directly related with the company which was running National Herald. Otherwise as well, there is no information about this market or the people who actually ran it or constructed it with the authorities here as well. So these are very glaring questions that need to be answered by
And how is it that none of these questions have been answered? They remain unanswered till date. Let me go back to Mr. Hashmi and a quick answer from him, and then I'll take this forward with others as well. Mr. Hashmi, you just heard what Amir, my colleague, pointed out. Now, in Lucknow, property rented to beer shops and hardware shops. In Mumbai, 200 commercial shops have been set up or in that very property. In Patna, it has allegedly been taken over by land mafia. Now, would you agree, on a very basic level, would you agree that these buildings were initially built on land leased to National Herald at concessional rates? Are we on agreement, at least on this very note?
See, listen, these are mere allegations, and an allegation cannot take place the place of proof. If land has been taken by land mafia, then case should be registered against land mafia. But instead of...
No, but I'm just asking you whether there is basic agreement on the fact on how these properties were acquired.
And to hide the incompetency of BJP government...
Let's take it point by point, Mr. Hashmi.
Political party of our country. On Adani port and drugs worth rupees 45,000 crore has been seized. But nobody wants to debate on it.
No, so if they... if they were initially, if all of these buildings were initially built on land leased to National Herald, then how is it that nobody has the answer, sir?
To criticize Rahul Gandhi and Congress party, it cannot be done.
No, if you speak over me, to try and sideline this and to dodge the questions, it's not going to quite work out, Mr. Hashmi. All right, let me
harass an honest politician like this.